What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. This is Jay from Jay's Life Out Loud, a channel about nothing, but it's about something. I'm asking that if you haven't already subscribed, go ahead and do so. Hit that like button, hit the notification button to keep you updated on new videos. Let me turn this air down. We're still trying to grow this channel. We want to get to 1,000 viewers, 1,000 subscribers, that is. So I'm gonna start in. So this subject has been on my mind for a while, a long while, and I finally decided to go ahead and do a video about it. So the subject, and I don't know how I'm gonna title this video when I'm done with it and decide to upload it. I mean, that's just being real with you. Sometimes I have a problem with titles. Sometimes I go back and change the title, but parenting. The relationship between parents and children, relationship between parents and grown children is not always an easy thing. As a parent, male or female, when raising a child, some of us might have not had a father. Some of us may not have had a father around when we were growing up. Some of us may have had our fathers around part of the time while we were growing up. Some of the women may have had a mother for only a short period of time, rather to death. Growing up, we dealt with all types of things. I've heard moms die early to death from whatever. Some people had parents that were out on the streets doing drugs, so on and so on, so on and so forth. Is that how I say it? So, and I say that because a lot of times how you were raised determines how you raise your children, good or bad. And that also, how you raise your children can also determine how your children treat you when they get older, for the good or the bad. Because I noticed that you can raise a child with both parents, all the love in the world, all the nurturing in the world. You're giving them everything that you didn't have when you were a child and more, and that child can still grow up to be totally different than what you expect. You could have a child, 3 children in one household, and all 3 pull something different from that household. You could even have that one where you like, I know I raised you, but who raised you? Like where was you at when your sisters was learning this? I mean, where did you disappear when we didn't know you wasn't there? But every child will be different. I remember I'm the youngest out of 2 children. It's me and my sister. But I remember when I was in my 20s moving out. And I didn't just move. I moved out of the city that I was in to another city within Michigan. And I had, got an apartment, and, I moved from Detroit to Ann Arbor. Had an apartment, working a temp job in my 20s. Was staying with my fiance at the time, which became my, wife and now ex-wife, raising 2 children. And my sister once said, she was like, how is it that my little brother move out before I do? And I don't know why I remember her saying that, and I was like, I was always leaving home, not running away or nothing, but when I got of age, I started, getting away. And then the reverse happened as we got older. She moved out of state, but I moved out of state, but I came back. So, so different kids will do different things. Some children will have mom's traits, some will have dad, some have a mixture of both, and some you'll be like, I don't even know if that's my child. And I don't mean that like you second guessing it, but I mean the mental and how they carry themselves or whatever. And I notice as children, you enjoy your children when they're little. And then it becomes a certain age where they can start irritating you or getting on your nerves like kids do, doing things they shouldn't do or getting in trouble. And you could be like, oh, I'll be glad when they grow. Oh, excuse me. Like, I'm glad when they 18 and they get out. And a lot of times what happens is you have your babies around you so long, you really don't know what it is to miss them. And what I've seen with me and my children is that kids get to a certain age and they go live they live their own life. And I've seen it with other people. I've seen it in my life. And the kids will go on, and what they call it, like empty nest syndrome, where parents will feel some type of way about the kids being away. Some parents be happy, like, I could care less as long as they gone. I love them, I pray for them, whatever. But I remember my mother, even when I was older, she would say, my sister being out of town, she would say, how is it that you stay in the same state and I talk to your sister out of state more than I talk to you? Because it wasn't that I didn't love my mother. It wasn't like she wasn't a great mother, because she was, all of that, and then some. But I was outliving my life. And a lot of times when you outliving your life, you're not conscious of what that does to a parent that raised you, that gave you everything that you needed, most parents, to make it in the world and get out on your own. They sacrifice so much for you. But selfishly, in a lot of ways, you just living your life. You don't mean no harm. You don't mean no ill will. You just out here living your life. But in a parent's mind, they're thinking you're neglecting them. And I'm not gonna lie, when I did it to my mother, I never understood what she was saying or how she felt until it happened to me. And it was like 1 minute they were babies, next minute they were teens. It was school, it was jobs, it was, buying them cars and whatever, and you wanting the best for them and trying to teach them and give them the wisdom that you had. And now they're grown. And a lot of times, you know how it is, when kids get grown, they think they know everything. They'll come to you when everything is messed up and nobody else can do it for them. And so, as parents, I would tell any parent that's going through that empty nest syndrome, or you just feeling like your kids don't care about you or they don't come see you, don't take it personal. You might be saying, like, how can I not take that personal? It hurts. I want to see my children, blah, blah, blah. But I think and what I think happens is they go through a stage of independence. And while they're going through that stage of independence, you're learning how to live your life without your children, travel, whatever the case may be. But once they go through that independent stage, you're getting older and they're getting older. And it ends up happening, I believe, sometimes what ends up happening is you grow older, they grow older, but by the time they realize how much you really mean to them and how much it means to spend time with your parents while they're here, for a lot of people, they find out when it's too late. Or they find out when the tables are leaning and, you know, and the time is running out. Say it like that. And, you know, that time in between, you can't get it back. And you can sit back and look at your parents and you'll be like, man, I wish, you know, it was so many days that I wasn't doing anything and I could have went and picked my mom or my dad up and went and had breakfast, or picked my mom and dad up and went to dinner, or planned a trip for us. And you can't get that time back. If you neglect them, or even if they neglect you, I mean, I'm pretty sure it's a lot of children on the other end that wish their parents, even though they're older, would spend time with them. And the parent could be one of those parents that's always gone, you know, always on the move. So it goes both ways. But I wouldn't, you know, when it comes to parenting too, like, I wouldn't sit there and beg a child to spend time with me. I wouldn't beg a child to stop by, you know, once a month or whatever. Because like I say, they're living their lives. And you have to have yours, you have to live yours. Am I saying it's going to be easy? No. Am I saying it's not going to hurt? No. But, you know, a lot of times I find myself, you know, thinking like, well, dang, I did A, B, and C. I thought I was a good dad, and, you know, I thought I did this right, or well, maybe I didn't do that right, and blah, blah, blah. But you know what? It doesn't matter what you do. Because I've seen parents that gave their children everything but love. I've seen children where the parent loved them but didn't have a lot of money. And I've seen it where children act different. I've seen people that treated their children with love, made sure they had everything, and the child don't mess with their parents. It's just how they feel. Like, oh, they too strict, or they was too such and such, and they gone about their way. Then you'll see a child that their parents was always out in the street drinking, on crack, whatever. And when you see when they older and the parent finally cleans themselves up or whatever, that child will love on their parent. That child will cling to that parent. I'm about to go get my mama and take her to the grocery store. I'm about to go get my mama and take her out for Sunday brunch, this and that, or whatever. And it goes different ways. It's like, you never know. Like, you can, like, it's just like when you, unless you doing some scientific stuff and you going to do whatever, it's just like you roll the dice when you lay down with somebody to create a child, and you don't know if you're going to get a boy or girl. You don't know if that child is going to be healthy. You don't know if that child is going to make it through, you know, to labor. You also roll the dice when you raise a child, because you never know. It don't matter how you raise them, how good, how worse, how bad, how whatever. You still don't know how that child is going to turn out and how that child is going to treat you as they get older. And all you can do is hope, pray that your child will love you and want to spend that time with you. You know? And it's not an easy thing. And I say a lot of times it's not an easy thing for both parties. How do you solve it? That I don't know. But I would definitely say this. Don't get upset with the child. Don't make a relationship impossible to ever be salvaged. Don't get, start getting evil towards the child or mad at the child, or when the child call, you going through the motions. And then I sit here and I think, either way, from the parents' view or the child's view, we all out here trying to cope. We trying to live. Parenting doesn't come with a handbook. Being a child, coming from a child to an adult, doesn't come with a handbook. And most times we all out here trying to do our best. And that's all you can do. And if you ever get to the point where your child doesn't want to see you or doesn't want to spend time with you, or just don't think about it and they live in their own lives, at the end of the day, all you can do is pray for them and love them from afar. Because if you've done your job and you've done your best in raising that child, excuse me, there's nothing else left for you to do but just be there. And this goes for grandparents. Sometimes as a grandparent, you'll have, let's say your son has some kids, and the baby's mother, his baby's mother, is funny acting. They'll get into it and she'll not want the kids to see him. And you may not stay in the same household as your son, but you want to see your grandkids and have a relationship with them. But due to what's going on with him and her, she'll be like, oh no, I have to take them here and do that with the child. And what she's sticking in her mind is, nah, I ain't stupid. You get the child, he gonna see her or him, blah, blah, blah. So it can go for, grandparents too. And I know in some states they have grandparents' rights or whatever, but navigating through relationships in life, in general, is not easy. But I think it's something different when it's yours, when that's your baby. When that child, you change their diapers, wipe their butt. And I'm sure there's parents out there that have kids that are, I know people that don't want their kids around them. They don't want their kids, they don't want to see them because they horrible, they killers, or they drug dealers, or they bring drama to the house, or they disrespectful. Hey, then you got kids that's have parents that they don't even want their mamas and daddies knowing where they live at. I don't need him coming knocking on my door 2 a.m. drunk, asking for some buttermilk. I don't know why I came up with buttermilk, but So it's different ways, man, and I can't really give you the like a full detail on how to handle it, but what I can say is a lot of times you have to love people from afar. And if the relationship is, if you can salvage it, or if you can sit back and, you let them, nowadays people are more into texting than call. You text them here and there, let them know that you love them. I'm just checking on you, whatever. And I know you, and even with me, sometimes I'm like, well, I'm not going to keep texting if you ain't texting, you don't text and call and check on me. And I don't know, sometimes the stubborn part of me like, look, I called you last month, checked on you. You ain't called and checked on me. And then sometimes I think to myself, I'm the parent. You supposed to call and check on me. Now it's your turn to have some concern about your daddy. And they might be thinking the same thing. Dang, well, did I stop being your child at a certain time or a certain age? You ain't called to check on me, make sure I'm all right. You haven't invited me for dinner, or as we navigate through this thing called life. What can I tell you? One thing I will say, sometimes in relationships, and I'm not talking about a man and a woman being together and that type of relationship. I'm talking about family relationships, mother and daughter, father and son, father and daughter, mother and son. Sometimes you can let time go in between, and both parties can be stubborn. And a day will go by, a week will go by, a month will go by, and years go by of not talking, not communicating. And then there's this thing called death that comes. And on that deathbed, you'll wish you had more time. You'll wish you apologized. You'll wish you reached out to tell them that you love them. And I'm talking to parents and I'm talking to children. But you can't get that time back. Just remember that. You can't get that time back. Because when it's gone, it's gone. And I think, I don't know, I didn't really pay attention to how fast time went by when I was young. But at 47, it seems like months go by like weeks. Before you know it, the kids will be out here trick-or-treating. And you'll blink and look up, and Christmas songs will be playing, and it'll be lights everywhere. Time stops for nobody. So all I can say is make the best out of it that you can. Parents, love on your children, and children, love on your parents. We're not gonna be here forever. And don't wait till the person is in the ground to go sit by a gravesite and spend time with them. Love y'all. Be blessed.